Welcome, Fresh CrEd crew, to a very special episode of the Fresh CrEd. Today we are joined by Mike Hsu, CEO of GrubMarket, and Pamela Riemenschneider of the Produce Reporter. Pamela is joining us today to interview Mike and myself to learn about who is Mike Hsu and what is GrubMarket. Mike's journey from a rural part of China to one of the fastest growing startups in the United States is a compelling story and one that I think you all will enjoy. Mike is a computer science graduate from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where in parallel to his studies, he operated a small farming operation growing vegetables. After school, Mike took off for the tech world where he worked for some of the biggest names in the business, eBay and Oracle just to name a couple. In 2014, Mike went back to his passion of fresh foods. He started a small home delivery business where he quickly learned there are several inefficiencies in today's U.S. food supply chain. Leveraging his technologies, he spotted an opportunity to improve the U.S. food supply chain, and the vision of GrubMarket was born. Take a listen now as Pamela talks with Mike and myself about where Mike started, how he got to the fresh produce industry, the growth of GrubMarket, his vision, and what's happening at GrubMarket today. Sit back, listen, and enjoy the show. So Mike, Pamela, thank you guys both for joining in here and being part of the Fresh CrEd.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you invited me to come visit. Mike, we haven't met in person. And to have the Produce Reporter and Fresh CrEd, it's kind of fun. Bring me in as a moderator, kind of, because we'll get into this later. But we wanted to get to know you a little bit, Mike, and to know more about what GrubMarket is, because I've been paying attention for a while, mostly acquisition press releases. But I want to know more about you and more about the business. So in the produce business, everyone talks about it being a people business, and we're like a family, so we need to get to know you better. Sure. Where did you grow up, and what brought you to study what you did, and how did you get to produce?
Well, that's first of all, thanks for having me in this very special episode. My name is Mike. I grew up in a rural area of China, and I came to United States to study computer science at Wisconsin for about 4 years, and then I graduated, and my first job is the software engineer at Oracle. Okay. And then work at the Oracle, eBay, and a few e-commerce, fintech, and enterprise software companies in Silicon Valley. And then I always dream about leveraging the technology to bring the positive impact of technology to the industries that needs technology. So that's how I came to this produce industry.
So did you have a background in food production when you were growing up, or?
Yeah, I like I said, I grew up in the rural area of China, so I've been with farmers and growers, since I was a kid. I really enjoy, being part of the rural agricultural community. When I studied at the University of Wisconsin, I actually rent land from the University of Wisconsin to do the farming.
So you rented land from the University of Wisconsin. What did you grow?
I grow all kinds of produce. Very productive. It was very productive planting experience. I planted green veggies and squashes, and then pretty much got all kinds of stuff, like from lettuce to zucchinis, and then to beans and peas, all kinds of, and even tomatoes, all kinds of produce.
So personal consumption, or were you trying to have a farm stand? Or?
No, basically personal consumption, family, because I had a family. I had a wife and a kid in the University of Wisconsin, and besides our family consumption, I also donated my produce to the to the people in the University of Wisconsin.
Okay. So Masters of Computer Science.
Yes.
And then you go into Oracle, eBay, more tech-related fields.
Exactly.
How did you decide to get into produce?
Yeah, I have been, as I said earlier, I have been always dreaming of bringing the software and e-commerce technologies to the industry that really needs technology. And then I have been always loving food and gardening and this kind of agriculture farming experience. And then I realized the agriculture and then the produce industry are a gigantic industry in the United States that have been behind all kinds of technology innovation and transformation. This is the industry which I have been closely interacting and since I was a kid. So I really, I think this is an industry I really want to, I want to stay.
What are some of the parts of the industry that you thought, you know what, there's a tech solution for this? How does this industry work that could be done better with better technology?
When I started this GrubMarket company in 2014, there are a few things that strikes me that I hope I can bring the value to this industry. Is that number one is this is a gigantic industry with trillions of dollars, but most of the industries are offline. In 2014, if we look at the travel industry, the fashion industry, we have seen a lot of online penetration into the people bringing the e-commerce technology to bring those industries online. But the food industry has, even though it's very essential and probably one of the most essential industries in this country, but still most of the transactions, most of the activities are handled offline. And so I see there's a value for me to bring the e-commerce and enterprise software technologies to help the people to handle a lot of things online, and they can get orders 24 hours a day, and then they can make their wholesale and distribution activities more efficient by leveraging software technologies. This is where I see a value for me to come to this industry with a humble attitude and to see if I can bring some positive impact to this industry.
You're making me think of some of my early experiences in the produce industry, where this is how it was bought and sold. You're riding along in a truck with a guy taking 20 phone calls looking at crops at the same time. That's how I had seen it when I first started, or fax machines or pricing lists that you send out or something like that. It does make sense to move it into a little more modern way of doing it. So when you started GrubMarket, what was the company's function when you first started?
Basically, that time we have these two business models, which is one is the online grocery, which is a B2C, and then the other is online B2B.
Okay.
And then we found that the online B2B is a more reasonable business model, and then so we focus on that. That's how the current GrubMarket company is mostly focused on the B2B.
Okay, so you started with the grocery, then you moved to B2B. Can you think of any anecdotes or examples or something like that where you're like, what have I gotten myself into? Or has food always been a natural business for you? Have you always found a way to make it?
Yeah. Well, at the beginning, I sourced produce directly from farmers and growers. So I greatly appreciate what the farmers and growers worked very hard to get the produce, harvested and then brought to the food supply chain industry. So I really developed a belief is that our technology transformation should not take the top-down approach. It should take the bottom-up, which means how to benefit the people who spending their life for hard working, didn't make much money. The technology really need to benefit the people, from the bottom up. It is my success criteria.
So to do that, you can't just be a B2B. You can't just be the food supplier. So you've got to go into acquisitions to expand the business. How did you turn that corner into acquiring other businesses?
Yeah, so this is a big learning experience of how the tech people came to this industry. Because when I started in 2014, I have seen pretty much a lot of similar companies like us, which is the tech people or people coming from the investment world. They saw the opportunity in this gigantic produce and food supply chain industry. They want to bring the technologies. They got the money from investors, and then they just thought they are someone chosen by the for the mission, and then they took the pride and of bring the technology to this industry. So they trying to build up their business from the scratch. They think they have a lot of money, and then even I was part of them. I was those part of the tech background entrepreneurs. We didn't respect a lot of know-hows in this industry, and then we just thought that we have technology, we have money. I was lucky enough. I quickly learned that there are a lot of things I didn't know about this industry, and then I need to stay humble and learn about this industry. Then we can build the software we think is the best for this industry. But quite some of the other tech entrepreneurs, they didn't realize that, so they will build everything from scratch. They spend the money, and then they eventually run out of money. Mm-hmm. So that's why we have seen a lot of similar companies didn't quickly came up and quickly finish by using up all of VC's money. Food and produce are very sophisticated and highly perishable, basically a very sophisticated business, and its operations very difficult to handle. And for people like me who didn't, just like for another like Craig, started the first job in the produce industry, so I have a lot of things to learn. So that's why it's a very bad idea for me to do things for starting from scratch. So it's best for us to partner with the very well established business like Craig's Sunfed business, to work together to build up our technologies that we think the best fit into this industry.
What was the progression? How did you guys, obviously there's fundraising involved in that, but it's not just buying a few here in the Bay Area. This is pushing a huge vision. Mm-hmm. So roughly how many acquisitions have there been? How much fundraising has there been, and where's the fundraising coming from?
We know that the big players like Cisco, they have done hundreds of acquisitions, and our acquisitions are kind of different from the Cisco's acquisitions, because we're more focused on the technology transformation of the acquisitions. So as of today, we have acquired more than 90 companies. Of course, we use the money we raised from investors, who see a value of what we are doing.
So tell me a little bit about the investor process and what you've seen come into this business. What kind of investors are you attracting?
Yeah, so most of our investors are based in US, mm-hmm. and then they are institutional investors, like Tiger Global and BlackRock, and they basically are just typical, investors focus on making capital returns, and then they like our business fundamental thesis, right? So they think this is by investing in us, they can make a good capital return. So I think that's the basic fundamentals of investment. Some investors who are actually just like General Mills, they are actually very deep into this industry, and then they're doing a lot of traditional food supply chain business stuff, but they really like to fund the opportunities that some technology companies can bring to the industry. So whenever they see they invest in companies like us who can bring the positive impact of technologies to the industry. So that's the very interesting sector of investors that we we're able to raise money from.
Okay. So what makes a company attractive to GrubMarket for acquisition?
The companies that have been in the industry for quite some time, such as 20 to 40 years.
Okay.
And some of the business we acquired has, for example, like Grub has over 100 years.
Yeah.
And SGS produced in Los Angeles has over 120 years. And we basically, they bring a lot of experience in this industry. And then they also, of course, they are very successful and very well established in the industry. When we acquire companies, we are not just like doing financial acquisitions. We feel the acquired companies are some greater business entities that we can partner with, and then we can learn a lot of experience of this industry from. And so we have acquired more than 90 companies. We really are a big family.
So Craig, this isn't just the Pamela show. Right?
It's okay. I'm enjoying the show myself.
So Sunfed, your day job, was acquired by GrubMarket. When did that happen?
January 2022 became official.
Okay. Well, what was acquisition something that Sunfed was pursuing?
Absolutely not. So Matt and I had acquired the company from his father, Danny, who started Sunfed.
Right.
And obviously Matt, being the lineage, was very close to the business. So it was never anything in our vision to be acquired. We were set out to continue what Danny had started and expand on it and build a much bigger business.
Well, what made you decide to do this? How did this work?
So yeah, a couple of things. One, Mike and his story and his vision, it's very compelling, right? Because this is, to understand and know kind of what he's doing, how he got started, and where he's going. I mean, it's, like I said, it's a compelling story, it's a compelling vision. Also, both Matt and myself, Matt being much younger, so it's not quite as amazing, but even as an old guy, I'm very much leaning into technology. I believe that for this industry, we tend to always be kind of behind where the technology space is going. I'm, like I say, being in the business for 30 years, I can remember when computers came in, and I can remember how long it was just for us to adopt computers and, get away from fax machines. And there's just, the industry tends to be very slow to adopt. But when you look at the world around you, Mike mentioned fashion, he mentioned some of the other spaces, but efficiencies of technology are changing industries all over. And for Matt and I, when we looked at it and we heard Mike's vision, we understood what they were doing here at GrubMarket. Joining the GrubMarket family became obvious kind of for us to want to be part of, because not only does it give an opportunity, for Matt and I, but we believe it gives an opportunity for our employees, our customers, everybody through the whole deal, because literally we improve the efficiency of the supply chain. We will ultimately be able to bring down costs, which in turn should increase consumption at the end of the day.
And increase money back to the producer.
For sure,
yeah,
absolutely.
And also as part of the tech companies, we also we partner with Craig and Matt. We give stock options of GrubMarket to some of the employees.
Yeah, and that's something, that's a great example, and that's the thing. Yeah, when you become part of a much bigger organization, for people that are part of a family deal, there's a fear factor, right? You're very close to, they can see me all the time. But to be part of an organization like this, not only things like stock options, that was something that probably wasn't going to be an option with Matt and I being by ourselves. But the options within Grub, right? I mean, we're now part of the Grub family. Therefore, all of our associates have the opportunity to expand at Sunfed or potentially expand up into some of the other family of companies. It works really well.
Yeah, and also we are not like a PE firm. PE firm, they acquire companies, so they try to, after they acquire acquisition, their focus is they maybe try to squeeze the company to make more money for them. our acquired companies together through the technologies, not through trying to cut more people or changing the management to make more money.
That's the number one question I get, right? Is what has GrubMarket changed about how you and Matt run the company? And my answer is, that was a deciding factor, right? Mike was very clear. We want you guys to run a good business. That's what we're bringing you in to do. And they have absolutely, unequivocally let us run our business. We're just part of a bigger family now, but in terms of, like I said, they're not a PE firm that's going to come in and tell us we should do this or do that.
Exactly.
So, Craig, what's your perspective on the vision that GrubMarket has for the fresh food supply chain?
So to kind of continue on that train of thought I was talking about from a technology standpoint, right? So if you think about it now, that AI has become what AI is, right? I mean, you can start to see a lot quicker how what these guys are building with a software platform, what they're doing with technology is, if you can imagine, for orders to be placed and instead of somebody either on a computer or a spreadsheet calculating and what's the next order got to be, you can imagine artificial intelligence doing all those calculations and doing kind of the mundane stuff throughout the process. And this is just a singular thing, but when you think about what that kind of technology can do to make the system more efficient and allow people to do bigger and better things, right? They can, instead of being bound to a spreadsheet or something like that, they can maybe be talking to another customer or, moving more produce somewhere else because they're freed up from the mundane task. But when you think about the overall vision, right? I mean, you're looking at, as what Mike's kind of already said, he's bringing in people and organizations that know their business, knows the parts that he recognizes, hey, I'm not an expert in this, I'm going to bring these experts in. And then the part where he and his team and what the overall technology group is, where they're experts, where the rest of us are not, and then together join all that technology up so we can be one fluid unit. And for me, I feel it's kind of a vision not just for the Grub, but potentially for the greater being, right? You prove this proof of concept out, right? I mean, similar to there was no Uber at one time, but Uber came out and there you go, Lyft, and now you've got an industry that didn't exist before, right? And so it's a grand vision, and that's the thing is, for people that in the industry, being a disruptor in any industry is never easy, and for a lot of people, there's a lot of people, disruption quite often brings fear, right? When you come in as a disruptor, I mean, there's fear that comes in, there's uncertainty, and so it's not easy being a disruptor, but again, just look around the space. You could name 100, just sitting here, different things have been disrupted in the last 15, 20 years from technology. And so when you start to think about it, to have somebody come along like Mike and have this vision, and he's not coming from a space of, I grew up here in the North Bay, I went to Stanford, my parents, but he came from a grassroots level. He's done farming. He's opened a wholesale facility. He's done, not he's just observed. I mean, he's literally, developed from a grassroots level an appreciation for what everybody does in that supply chain. So it's a lot to it, but it's again, it's one of those things. I know I'm super thrilled to be part of it.
Well, as the business is building acquisitions, it's not just acquisitions. You also recently released the AI solution Grub Assist,
yes.
And that's something that anyone can, come in and be a client for GrubMarket. What is AI, the Grub Assist, and how does that fit into the overall vision?
Part of my belief that we bring the technology to this industry. It's a great industry that with a gigantic amount of volume, business volumes, transaction volumes, amount of data, this industry can come up with some technologies that no other industries can build up. So this Grub Assist is a great example. when AI came up, we quickly realized, there's opportunity for us to bring the AI to this industry, because this industry is one of the biggest industry in this country. It has one of the biggest volume of the data sets across all the industry sectors of the United States. And then we find out that we have opportunity, to basically reinvent the business intelligence, the BI software solutions with AI, by working with the data in this industry, because the traditional business intelligence solution, software solution is basically like, for example, Oracle BI products, or the some other SAP BI products. They basically are very difficult to use. And then they will just say, if you spend $200,000, I give you the ability, you can see 15 sets of business reports, like profitability reports, sales margin reports, or price, trending reports. But that's it. The BI software that the wholesalers and distributors buy from the, some like parties like Oracle, SAP, they can only do a finite set of BI report, and they need to be trained, not just by paying a lot of money. They also need to be trained to use it. So the way that we use AI to reinvent the BI is that we say, okay, this industry has a lot of manual data. It also has, some software like Famous or Produce Pro, which already did pioneer in this industry. So, okay, we acknowledge that. We just need some simple format of data, like a CSV file or Excel file. We'll upload them. It can be generated by manually, or you can generate it from the output of those, existing ERP systems like Produce Pro or Famous. And then we upload to our AI-powered BI, platform. And then we can come up with a very user-friendly Q&A user interface with wholesalers and distributors, whoever you use our AI solutions, they can just type any kinds of business intelligence questions, such as, last month who is the salesman in my team who make the biggest profit for me, or last month what's the most profitable product, or they can say, give me the reports of the, gross margin, so of the all the SKU I sold last month. So then they would get the two very obvious benefits, compared to the traditional BI software, is that they can get unlimited set of BI information and BI outputs and BI reports. And then second is that it's very easy to use. You just type your questions.
Okay. So Mike, also with that technology, I mean, is the vision also to have some predictability as well? In other words, not only just pull the data of what has happened.
Exactly. Yeah, prediction and forecasting, based on business intelligence, the collected from the data. Yeah. So that's something that this Grub Assist technology, I honestly do not see many similar examples in other industries. This is very proudly, we can say we're probably the pioneers, the produce industry pioneers in doing this kind of reinvention of BI with AI.
Okay, all right.
We are actually going to roll out another important part of Grub Assist, which is we hope to get it out, by the beginning of next month. I remember in 2020, we acquired the business. The business model is very simple. It's a food service company. They serve local restaurants. But the way they handle the order is that they let the restaurants call them in the afternoons, which they are all out of the work. And then they leave voicemails. And then the beginning, when the food service company come to work in the morning, early morning, they will just replay all the voicemails. And then they will generate the orders, and then they will deliver. So the way the AI stuff we're going to roll out as part of Grub Assist is that we will have an AI-powered engine which will kind of grab the order data from the voicemails, from the emails, from the text messages, and then automatically generate the order.
Okay.
If the food service company, if they use this, then they don't need to come in the morning, replate everything. The order was generated on the fly when the restaurants call them.
Yeah.
In the afternoons or evenings.
It sounds a miserable job to have to go into your every day at work and sit there and listen to all the voicemails.
All the voicemails, and that's your orders.
That is
Yes.
not my idea of fun.
Yes.
Now, I just want to touch on, though, because in the vision, and you talk about AI, and we can see right now in the spaces that we know, how AI is applicable in terms of pulling data and looking forward. But, so Mike started, really at the home delivery piece of it, right? Mm-hmm. So, when you think about the big vision, right, and you think about, which was the same passion that Danny Mandel had with Sunfed, is how do we get the freshest produce to the consumer, right? Not just to a destination warehouse or something. Really, how do you close that gap from the farm to the fork, right? How do you make that narrow? So with the AI technology, things like, we're talking about orders on voicemails from a restaurant. Imagine, and part of the acquisitions, we focus on all the acquisitions that are fresh produce focused. I mean, Grub's in several different spaces in terms of the food supply chain, which I'll argue is the number one energy space, right? We are in the energy business because we are fueling humans. And so when you look at it, we're looking to the consumer places an order, and imagine with AI and all the technology behind it, basically they write the order all the way back to the farm kind of deal, right? And so all of that is tied together, and the efficiency you get from that and the freshness that you get from that and the reduction in food waste, right? Because in the supply chain that exists and the efficiencies that exist today, right, because you're trying to guess what that consumer is actually going to be needing and ordering, you will have to have so much, and quite often if you miss that projection, then it winds up being food waste. Or at the consumer end, they're forced to buy more than potentially they need in the moment, and on their end, because of the supply chain the way it exists, they are then, so again, it's a big, that's, the whole big picture, but you start to see how technology, AI, it changes so much about, like I say, the number one energy space in the country, which is fueling U.S. consumers.
Yeah. And going back to your question, what we are trying to do in the next couple of years, yeah. So we will, of course, continue to learn from this industry. And we continue to partner with great business like Craig and Matt's, Sunfed, and many other businesses that we acquired. We will continue to bring more AI technologies, more e-commerce technology, more enterprise software technologies to this industry.
All right, well, that's what I had.
No, thank you, Pamela, for doing it, and thanks so much,
thanks,
Mike. I mean, again, it's I know you. I work with you and interact, but I think it's important and it's great now that the opportunity for folks like Pamela, folks out there, the industry that work at it every day, hopefully come away with having a little bit of perspective. And I know you're a super busy guy. I
greatly enjoying operating in this industry. Last night, I traveled from McAllen, Texas, and after I get off to the airport, I went to one of our warehouse to do packing as just like any regular packers.
You don't do that often, do you, Mike?
I pretty much doing that every business day in the evenings. Yeah.
So you do the hairnet, the whole thing?
Yeah, I do sorting, packing. On the weekend, I go to farmers market to do sourcing, produce. Because I enjoy interacting with farmers and growers.
Yeah, that's it's a full day.
Yeah, it's a full day experience. Yeah.
Indeed. So guys, it's been great. Thank you very much. That's a beautiful spot here, and hopefully we'll have a chance to get together sometime in the future and do this again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
I hope everyone enjoyed today's show. For more information on GrubMarket, go to grubmarket.com. Also check out Pamela and Greg's weekly show, The Produce Reporter, via YouTube. And of course, be sure to check out the Fresh CrEd homepage at thefreshcred.com to find links to all of our content. Thanks for listening, and please send us your feedback and let us know how we're doing.